Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel this week. Boy, do we have a busy weekend ahead of us. So I've got the RV pretty much packed and loaded, and we're going to be heading to Kolomoki Mounds in Blakely, Georgia. This will be our second time camping there. But before we do that, Allie and I are performing with our Motley Crue tribute band at Janus Live in St. Petersburg, Florida. So we will be doing that tonight, Friday night, September 1st, and then after the show, immediately after the show, which ends around midnight, we're going to drive back, jump in the RV, and see how far up the road we can get to Georgia. I would like to get maybe up to the Florida line, but we're just going to have to play it by ear and see how far we can make it because we're going to be dog tired. So we ended up overnighting at a Walmart in Chiefland. We only made it a couple hours up the road, and then we ended up driving on the rest of the way in on Saturday morning. So as we were driving up US 19 on our way to Georgia, we really was able to see quite a bit of the effects of the hurricane that had just came through, and all the trees that were down and down to power lines and everything that was pretty much all these areas that we like to camp at a lot, like up around Cedar Key and Chiefland and Manatee Springs. There was a lot of damage there.
So we just found out today that Jimmy Buffett passed away yesterday, and very sad. So we're listening to this music. This is Rigel's first trip out of Florida. We are heading to Kolomoki Mounds in Blakely, Georgia, and we are meeting friends from Snellville, Craig and Susan, and we're excited to see them. It's been a while. It's been about a year since we've seen them, so it'll be nice to catch up. And we haven't seen them since they've gotten their RV, so we're excited to see that.
After getting set up and checked in and relaxing for a little bit, we ended up deciding to go ahead and air up the paddle boards because we're right there on the lake. Absolutely gorgeous little lake here at Kolomoki Mounds. And Craig had already said he had seen some turtles and an alligator swimming around in the lake, so I asked him if he'd ever been on a paddleboard. He had not. I aired up the paddle boards, and Craig and I went out for a little paddle.
They are going out right over here somewhere. Right there. There is a turtle on something. Piece of wood or something, and they're gonna go check it out. So beautiful.
We ended up paddling the whole length of the Kolomoki Lake, and we did not see any alligators while we were out paddleboarding. We did see a couple turtles. We saw some interesting birds. I don't know if they were ducks or what they were, but we had a good time. He enjoyed the paddleboarding very much. And yesterday morning, Allie got out on the paddleboards, and we ended up paddleboarding over to show her the lily pads that we discovered the day before. So what do you think of Kolomoki Mounds being on the water here? Yeah, we didn't do this last time we were here. Well, we didn't have the paddleboards last time either. Oh boy, we're starting to turn, Nikki. We got to get paddling again. The tide is turning us around. Really cool. They have lily pads all around this lake that have flowers that bloom, and they come out at night, and when the sun hits them, they kind of close back up during the day. I told her it was well worth coming out here and checking out the lily pads and the flowers in the water. It is so beautiful here at Kolomoki Mounds State Park. Love it. This is our second time here. I don't think it'll be our last. It's not that far from home, and it's a great Georgia State Park if you've never been. We definitely would rate it as one of our favorite Georgia parks outside of the mountains. So after we paddleboarded, we were quite hungry. So that evening, I actually suggested making our hobos, as I call them. It's hamburger meat mixed in with vegetables and stuff inside just some tin foil with some nice Kerrygold butter. And Craig ended up making fajitas. And oh my gosh, we ate well that night. So much good food.
Right at sunset last night, we climbed up the Kolomoki Mound, the big mountain where the chief priest lived, and got to see the sunset from up there. It was beautiful.
Wow, look at that sunset.
Good job, Rondo!
Woo! The air is very thin up here. I got a good perspective from over here. We are on top of the mound at Kolomoki Mounds. I knew this would be a good idea to come at sunset. It's gorgeous.
Mound, the chief priest mound.
Yeah, and he would live up there, supposedly at the highest point.
Yep.
I think if we remember right, we read that they did this bucket by bucket load, pretty much building this mound.
Yep.
Can you imagine?
Like a chain, right?
Wow. And then in the distance there, you can see a small little mound.
And then we went and checked out the graveyard when it was dark. And if you want to see our previous video where we were here before, checked out the museum and all the different mounds, we'll leave the link up right up here. It is a smaller campground here. There's about 24 sites, and it was very peaceful this weekend. It was a nice little getaway for Labor Day weekend.
Now, we will say that the campground at Kolomoki Mounds is not very large. There's not a ton of campsites, and we were lucky that we got the campsites when we did because it was completely full when we were there. We did enjoy Kolomoki just as much as we did the first time, and the mounds and all the history there. It's a very, very neat place.
It's been a kind of bittersweet weekend just because of the passing of Jimmy Buffett, and we just really loved his music and loved the kind of person he was.
And as you guys know, we've really become Jimmy Buffett fans over the last, I would say, 3 or 4 years in our trips to the Keys and listening to all of his greatest hits. And we really was looking forward to seeing him in concert at some point. And unfortunately, no, that's not going to happen now.
And thinking about the song Come Monday, where he was at that line was Labor Day weekend show.
Wearing my Margaritaville shirt today in honor of Jimmy.
For the Labor Day weekend show.
And here it is Labor Day today.
It'll be alright. Come Monday.
So yesterday we took a trip into Bluffton, Georgia for lunch, and it was actually a farm where they have a bunch of farm animals there, and they have a general store, which on the side is the restaurant.
Not only do they serve food there, but they have a very cool general store. And we did some shopping. We picked up a few things. We bought some locally harvested bratwursts, some really good sauerkrauts, and picked up the hat. Allie picked up a t-shirt, and we explored the grounds around there because they actually do have, it is a farm, so they have farm animals. They had some pigs out there. They had some goats. They had some horses. We walked through the horse barn and tried to get the horses' attention. They didn't really want anything to do with us, but hey, it was very, very cool little place. So if you are staying at Kolomoki Mounds, this is probably a little 20-minute drive or so, and definitely really, really worth it. You can feel the history and everything there, as well as we love like the old general store type feels and shopping and eating. You get it all there in one place, which is really nice.
So if you're ever here in this area and you're staying at this campground, you have to check it out in Bluffton, Georgia.
And last night we played a little bit of Mexican train dominoes, and we also turned them on to the game 1 to 100. All right, so it's a week early because next Sunday will be somebody's birthday.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Wait a minute. Stop. We need to harmonize. I'll go low. Happy.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Allie. Also known as Gloria. Happy birthday to you.
May the dear Lord bless you.
Nikki is going to be so upset when Leica and Rondo go home.
Yep.
She had a good time.
I'm going to miss my little lap buddies.
Nikki is sacked out today. She's partied hard this weekend. So we knew this was going to be a quick turnaround trip, but we had actually planned on staying until Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. But Allie had some important stuff at work, so she decided not to take the day off, and we could just go ahead and come back home on Labor Day itself, that Monday.
So the next few weekends we're going to be taking off, but we have a big trip planned the beginning of October. We're going to be camping with my brother.
Up in North Florida.
Yep, Stephen Foster. Be our first time at that campground. We might get a couple of close to home trips at the end of this month, but we'll see.